Good Thursday morning. Genesis chapter 11, verses 10 through 26 lists the genealogy of one of Noah's sons, Shem. Though Shem is not the oldest son, he is the one to whom God has chosen the godly line of Abraham to come from. So from verse 10 through verse 26, we see that genealogy, but in between there it says, now Shem was 100 years old. And then he had a son named Arphaxad. And it was 2 years after the flood. So not only do we have a time period, then it tells us how old Shem was when his child was born. But then it also tells us, and then Shem lived after he had Arphaxad, or after he sired Arphaxad, because men don't have babies, 500 years. And he begat other sons and daughters. And I got to thinking about the list of genealogies. Sometimes we'll skip over them. It's like, oh, that's too many words. I can't pronounce that word. But every name belongs to a person God created, and they did something in their lifetime. Maybe it was good, maybe it was not so good. Shem is known not only as Noah's son, he was on the ark. He had a son when he was 100 years old named Arphaxad, and then he lived 500 more years. But when you get to verse 26, you see that Abram is listed. Abram, who becomes Abraham, the father of many nations, into which Jesus' earthly family would derive. And it made me think about my life. Lord, what will be written about me? Children, grandchildren. But between that birth date and that death date, the dash that we see on tombstones, will my life reflect a legacy of living for the Lord? Solomon said in Ecclesiastes 12. So this is the whole conclusion. You know, after all this life I've lived, I've discovered that the best thing to do is to fear God and obey his commandments. That's Ecclesiastes 12:13. But then Jesus says, to wrap it all up, Matthew 6:33, seek ye first the kingdom of righteousness, and know that everything you need will be added unto you. Our priority should be fulfilling the Lord's desire, the why, the reason he created us. We should line up according to his will, our will. How does your life speak now? We see Shem's genealogy, and we see who will come from his list of descendants. Who will come from our list of descendants? And what testimony are we leaving about Jesus each day? Because every day we're teaching. We can be teaching Jesus is good, God is gracious and kind and merciful, or we can be teaching the ways of the world. Again, this is Genesis chapter 11, verse 10 through 26, but the key verse to go along with it is Ecclesiastes 12:13. In conclusion, Solomon says, I now understand the best way to live is to fear God and obey his commandments. May we do likewise. I love you. God loves us. He so wants us to love one another. And God willing, I'll see you the next day. Be thankful. It's Thursday. Bye.